Welcome to VU Academy. Today we will learn about the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is responsible for producing the ova, supporting the fertilization, and nurturing the developing fetus during the pregnancy. So, according to this picture, you all can see what are the parts of our female reproductive system. So, there is a pair of ovaries present. They are in almond shape. These ovaries are connected towards the fallopian tubes. Then these tubes transport the egg from the ovary to the uterus. So the uterus is a hollow muscular organ where the implantation and the fetal development occur. It has three main layers. The innermost layer is the endometrium, and the middle muscular layer is called as the myometrium, and here is the perimetrium. It's the outer protective layer. Then this is the cervix. It's the lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. The vagina is a muscular canal that passes the menstruation and helpful for the intercourse and for the childbirth. Now let's study about the anatomy of the ovaries. So, according to this picture, it depicts out the different stages of the follicular development, ovulation, and the formation of corpus luteum within the ovary. So, here you can see the primordial follicle. It develops into primary follicles. Then there are developing follicles. Here is the Graafian follicle. So, here is the ovulation occur by liberating the ovum. Then it transforms into the early corpus luteum, then corpus luteum, and finally you can see the corpus albicans. Now let's study detailing about the follicular development. Here the primordial follicle contains the primary ovum surrounded by a thin layer of the cells. So this is the earliest stage of our follicular development. Then you can see the primary follicle. It's a developing follicle. So where the ovum starts growing and it's surrounded by cells begin to thicken. Then the developing follicles. So here several follicles starts to mature, but typically only one reaches the full maturity. Then this is the Graafian follicle. It's a fully developed and matured follicle contained in the secondary ovum. It's ready for the ovulation. So this follicle breaks and open by releasing the ovum. So this process is called as the ovulation. Now, after ovulation, the empty follicle transformed into the corpus luteum. This is the early corpus luteum, which secretes the hormones like estrogen and progesterone and supports for the potential pregnancy. Then this corpus luteum mature and continue the hormone production to maintain our uterine lining. If fertilization does not occur, this corpus luteum degenerates into a structure, a scar-like structure called corpus albicum. So in this manner, the follicular development occur within our ovaries. Now let's study about the uterus. The human uterus or the womb is a hollow pear-shaped muscular organ in the female pelvis. So it plays the role of menstruation, pregnancy, and the childbirth. Our uterus is situated in the pelvic cavity in front of the urinary bladder and behind the rectum. Normally, the non-pregnant size uterus is 7 to 8 centimeter long, 5 centimeter width, and 2.5 centimeter thick. So during the pregnancy, it expands significantly to accommodate the growing fetus. Now let's see the structures of the uterus. It has four main parts. So this is the fundus, this is the body of the uterus, here is the isthmus, and this is the cervix. So fundus is a dome-shaped upper part. It's located above the opening of the fallopian tube. This is the body. It's the central largest portion where the implantation and fetal development occur. This is the isthmus. So it's the narrow lobe segment connects the body to the cervix. The cervix is the final part. It's the lower cylindrical part that connects the vagina, and it secretes mucus that changes during the menstrual cycle. And the uterus is having three layers. Here is the endometrium, this is the myometrium, and this is called as the mesometrium. The endometrium is the inner layer. It's a highly vascularized and glandular layer. It undergoes cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle by shedding during menstruation and thickening during the implantation. Then the myometrium is the middle muscular layer. It's a smooth muscle. It's made by the smooth muscle fiber that contracts during the menstruation and childbirth. So this myometrium provides a strength for the labor and delivery. Then the mesometrium or the perimetrium, its outer layer, it's a thin serous membrane. So it provides protection and the structural support. uh, when we discuss about the blood supply towards the uterus, it's done by the uterine artery. It's a branch of the internal iliac artery, and the nerve innervation is controlled by the autonomic nerve system by regulating the contraction and responses towards the hormonal changes. Now let's study about the external female reproductive structures in this slide. From this picture, you all can see here is the mons pubis, this is the labia majora, here is the labia minora, this is clitoris, this is the urethra, here is the vaginal opening, this is the hymen, here the perineum and the anus. So when we study detailedly, the mons pubis is a fatty tissue covering the pubic bone, and the labia majora is the outer folds of the skin that protect the vaginal and the urethral opening. Labia minora is the inner fold of the skin that protect the vaginal opening and clitoria. The clitoris is a sensitive organ that involves in the sexual arousal. Now, there's another significant gland presence in the female reproductive system that is called as a Bartholian glands. So it secretes the mucus for lubrications during the sexual activity. Let's see what are the functions of our female reproductive system. So the first one is the egg production. It's called as oogenesis. Then the hormone production, like the hormones of estrogen and progesterone, and regulation of menstrual cycle. Further, for fertilization and pregnancy support, and also for the labor and delivery. Then say the menstrual cycle. So, this image illustrates the menstrual cycle, showing the different phases, hormonal changes, follicular development, and endometrial changes occurring during the 28-day cycle. So, here you can see the phases of the menstrual cycle. So this is the follicular phase. It extends from the 1 to 14th day, and this is the luteal phase. It extends from the 14th to 28th day. So in the follicular phase, it begins the menstruation. It means the shedding of our uterine lining, and the follicles starts the developing. Here, the estrogen level starts gradually and leading to thickening of our endometrium. In the 14th day, you all can see that the ovulation occurs by surging of the luteinizing hormone by triggering the releasing of ovum from the matured follicle. And from the luteal phase, which extend from the 15 to 28 day cycle, the ruptured follicle transformed into the corpus luteum, which produce the progesterone. So this progesterone blue color line shows that it helps to maintain the thickening of the endometrium for a possible pregnancy. So if fertilization does not occur, this progesterone level drops and leading to the menstruation. Now let's see about the hormonal fluctuation. Here, from the greenish line, you can see the follicle stimulating hormone or the FSH. It stimulates our follicle growth. Now, the luteinizing hormone LH, the red line, it shows the peak level due to the ovulation as a result of the triggering of releasing the egg or the ova. Then yellow color line shows the estrogen. It rises the follicular phase by promoting the endometrial thickening. Then the progesterone, the blue line, rises in the luteal phase, stabilizing the uterine lining. Similarly, in the endometrial cycle, the endometrial changes. It means the endometrial lining sheds during the menstruation. Here you can see then, progressively, thickening of the endometrium occurs due to the increasement of the estrogen hormone level. Then, it becomes more vascularized and glandular during the luteal phase due to the influence of the progesterone hormone. So, if there's no pregnancy occur, it breaks down, leading to the next menstrual cycle. From this slide also you can see the menstrual cycle very clearly. Now let's study about the common disorders in the female reproductive system. They are the menstrual disorders, ovarian disorders, uterine disorders, as well as the vaginal and cervical disorders. Now the among menstrual disorders, dysmenorrhea, amenorrhea, menorrhagia, oligomenorrhea occupies a significant role. The dysmenorrhea means the pain during the menstruation. It's mostly occur due to the uterine contraction as well as due to the endometriosis-like condition. The amenorrhea means the absence of menstruation. It occurs due to many reasons. So sometimes it may due to the hormonal imbalance, pregnancy, or due to menopause. The menorrhagia means the heavy or the prolonged menstrual bleeding. It often occurs due to the fibroid condition, hormonal imbalance, or due to the bleeding disorders. The oligomenorrhea is infrequent menstrual cycle. It can be linked with the PCOS. Then the ovarian disorders. Under ovarian disorders, we discuss the polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, ovarian cyst, and ovarian cancer. The polycystic ovarian syndrome, it's a hormonal disorder. It caused due to the irregular periods or due to ovarian cyst and for infertility condition. The ovarian cyst is a fluid-filled sac on the ovaries that cause the pain and complications if it rupture. Then ovarian cancer is a malignant growth in the ovaries often detected at the late stage due to the vague symptoms. Now let's move on to the uterine disorders. Under that, endometriosis is a growth of the endometrial tissue outside our uterus causing the pain, infertility as well as heavy period. Uterine fibroids is a non-cancerous tumor in our uterus that may cause the heavy bleeding pain pain or infertility. Adenomyosis is a condition when the endometrial tissues grows into the uterine muscles, leading to pain and heavy periods. Then the uterine prolapse is a condition when your uterus descends into the vaginal canal due to the weak pelvic floor muscles. Now let's move on to the cervical disorders. Under that, cervicitis. Cervicitis means the inflammation of the cervix. It's often due to the infections like chlamydia or gonorrhea. Then cervical dysplasia. It's the abnormal changes occur in the cervical cells, often due to human papilloma virus, which can lead for the cervical cancer. Now, the cervical cancer is a malignancy. It's often linked with the human papilloma infection. It's detected through the pap smears. Then the vaginal disorders. Under that, vaginitis and vaginal atrophy is discussed. Vaginitis means itis means the inflammation of the vagina due to the infections like bacteria, vaginosis, yeast infections, or trichomoniasis. Then the vaginal atrophy. It's occurred due to the thinning and the dryness of our vaginal tissues. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel. Bye bye.